Unicorns Talk is a weekly podcast where we discuss the ups and downs of the human experience, from personal growth to romantic relationships and everything in between. This show is for life livers, life lovers, and life enhancers. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, your life enhancement coach, and together we're going to laugh, love, and learn to maneuver all of life's little messes. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Latrice Sampson Richards here. I am a licensed professional counselor and a certified life purpose and relationship coach for Black women who are ready to heal from our past so we can build a future that we deserve. And you are tuned in to episode 32 of Unicorns Talk podcast, your weekly girl talk about Black women, our healing and manifestation. So this has been a very exciting week for me so far. I mean, like since the last time I talked to y'all last week, so much has happened. Y'all know I told y'all that I thought my laptop was trying to die on me, but it turns out, girl, she was just tired. I was trying to get her to do like way more than what she could handle. And so she was just working way too hard. And so I have been able to upgrade to a new laptop, and my new laptop can handle everything I needed to do and then some. So I'm really excited about that. And I got a really good deal on it, which always makes, like, I love getting a good deal on stuff, especially when it's good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like I'm always bragging about when I get a good deal on things, and I love telling that to the world. I think I get that from my daddy because my daddy loves a deal. Okay. But I got a really good deal on it. And so I'm excited about that, and, you know, still trying to see what it does and everything like that. And my new microphone came in last week. Yay. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but I might sound a little different today. I definitely upgraded to a better quality microphone. And so this is my first episode recording with the new mic. And so now, you know, I feel like I'm kind of like a podcasting teenager now, you know, like I'm growing up in this podcast game and things, and, you know, stuff is really coming together for me. So I'm excited about that. Now, the interview that I'm going to run for y'all today, remember, I did not have the new microphone yet at the time that I recorded the interview, but I have the new microphone now. And so you might hear a difference in the sound quality. Not much of a difference because the microphone I was using before was pretty decent. It just wasn't as good as the one that I'm using now. And so I still don't have like a top of the line microphone or whatever, but I feel like it's definitely a step up. And so make sure you let me know, like leave a comment or whatever, and let me know what y'all think about the sound. I'm still figuring it all out, but I feel really good about it. You know, I do. So anyway, this is the last week of Women's History Month. And so, as you all know, all month long, I have been highlighting Black women who have made a difference, who make a difference in their everyday lives, in their communities, and in the lives of the people that know and love them. And so I genuinely believe that Black women make history every single day, just by virtue of our existence. And so this was my way of celebrating that. You know, I celebrate it daily in my work and in my life. I mean, I have literally dedicated my life to Black women, Black people, but, you know, Black women in particular. So I celebrate us every chance that I get, but this was my contribution to the effort of celebrating women, specifically Black women, during Women's History Month. And so last week, you all had an opportunity to fall in love with my mother. If you have not yet done that, do yourself a favor, okay? And she was so excited about that. And thank you to everybody who tuned in or shared or sent a comment, sent a kind word, whatever it was. Like, she really appreciated it. And even though she was a little nervous at first, I think she did a great, amazing, awesome job. And I'm not just saying that because that's my mama. Maybe I am. Maybe a little bit. So thank you for checking her out. This week, To close out the month and this very special series that I've been running all month, I am bringing you an interview that I did with Ashley Williams, who is the founder of Ava's Glam Camp. So, Ava's is a really good program that focuses on instilling confidence and self love in young girls. And so, Ashley and I talk about how and why she created Ava's Glam Camp, as well as her own journey to self discovery. Also, today, we have High Five. High Five today goes to Black Panther again for making history again. And I also have a second high five that's going to 11-year-old Naomi Wadler, who introduced herself to the world this weekend unapologetically at this weekend's March for Our Lives event in Washington, D.C. So those are our high fives for today. And then also, we're doing a reality check today, and the reality check goes to Sky from VH1's Black Ink Crew. I have lots of comments and things about that, really some insight and things like that. So stay tuned for that. And I have a very special shout out today and some really exciting announcements at the end of the show. So make sure you catch those. Stay tuned in. Don't leave me. You know what I'm saying? Not that you really want to leave me. I hope that you don't want to leave me like that, you know? But thank you so much for tuning in. And let's see. If you haven't already, please make sure that you rate, subscribe, and comment on Apple Podcasts. It really helps in terms of getting my voice heard and reaching as many people as I can. I mean, I really believe that this is my purpose and my calling in life. And so when you all share and subscribe and let the people know, it really makes a difference and helps me to be able to manifest my vision and walk in my purpose. And so thank you to everyone who has already. If you have not yet, make sure you go on Apple Podcasts, rate, comment, and subscribe. All right. So what else? Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give you my interview with Ashley Williams. Enjoy. Ashley Williams is the proud founder and CEO of Ava's Glam Camp Incorporated. Ava's Glam Camp is a nonprofit organization located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, whose mission is to teach young African American girls between the ages of 5 and 18 what it means to have self love, how to be confident, and the importance of building a sisterhood. They teach each of their girls how to speak life not only over themselves, but also into the lives of each other. Ava's Glam Camp is not just a business, it's also a ministry of love. It was birthed shortly after Ashley gave birth to her only baby girl, Ava Faye. And from the moment she arrived, Ashley says that she knew that she never wanted Ava to struggle with loving herself. It immediately became Ashley's number one priority that Ava grows into being a woman who is truly self confident and never questions her self worth. It is her goal through Ava's Glam Camp to help raise strong young women of Christ who won't ever be easily broken in this world. Running Ava's Glam Camp isn't only what she does, it is who she is and what she stands for every day of her life. So, without further ado, here's my interview with Ashley Williams. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so happy to have you here, Ashley. I've been we've been following each other on Facebook for a little while now. I think we met in one of the crafting groups, I believe. Is that right? The Black Girls Craft?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, so I am definitely a DIYer. I have like three projects that I want to do right now. How long have you been a crafter?
Really all my life, but my adulthood, probably since about 24, 25, I really got into it. And it's just therapeutic for me. I love it.
It is very therapeutic. I love doing crafting. Like I could lose myself like a whole day in just putting like I don't know. I like to make old things look new again. I like to give new life to things and people, apparently. So I am really happy to have you here, Ashley, and to be able to talk to you and things like that. Ava's Glam Camp. I feel like I have watched Ava's Glam Camp kind of come into fruition for you. I remember when you made that first post about Ava's about the Glam Camp, and I was just like, okay, then like she got some things going on. Talk to us a little bit about Ava's Glam Camp. Let us know like what it is, what is it that you're trying to accomplish, and how did you really come to Ava's Glam Camp?
So, my goal for Ava's Glam Camp is truly to just be a community of encouragement and inspiration for young African American girls where they are able to just be showered with love, really taught who they are. Is more than enough. It's so important to me that we just pour into these young girls and that we build them up before the world attempts to break them, before a man attempts to destroy their self-esteem. It's we want to be right there, ground zero with them, and it's just such a personal mission of mine, truly because it stems from so many struggles of my own as a young, adult woman, and not having that community to pour into me, not having women telling me and helping me understand what it means to love myself, and kind of being at the mercy of men who would tell me that and teach me that self-worth, and not being something that I had for myself. I don't want these young girls to struggle in that way. And when I look around in today's world, it breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart. And these girls are crying out for help. And if I can help one, if I can help 10, if I can help 1,000, that's what I'm going to do. So Ava's Glam Camp is just like a safe haven for these young girls. And we're just going to love on them. We're going to speak life into them, and we're going to help prepare them with what they need to be strong in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know how I feel about the importance of community. Like I think that it is so important for us to, especially as black women, right? Black and brown women, that we build community within each other because we are being attacked from all sides. And so we have to be able to support each other, love on each other, and like really just provide each other with the support that we need. And so I love the idea of Ava's Glam Camp. I love the mission of Ava's Glam Camp. I really think that it's something that's necessary. So y'all are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I must be honest, I've never exactly heard of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But are you from there, or how did you end up in Harrisburg, or like what is it about Harrisburg that makes you feel particularly drawn to that area?
I am originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, born and raised all my life. And my mother, my grandmother, they, through church in Philadelphia, fellowshipped with other churches and met women from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who became like family to them. It wasn't until my grandmother passed away when I was a freshman in college that my mom just kind of needed to get away from the city. She said everywhere she drove, it made her think of my grandmother. So she came out to Harrisburg with church family and just spent some time. And she said she felt like the way the mountains surrounded her, it was like God just wrapping his arms around her. And she felt that it was a sign, and she was ready to move. So she relocated out here. And it's been a place that I struggled accepting that this is where God was moving me and this is where I was supposed to be. I mean, kicked and screamed every single step of the way. I've lived out here 4 times now, maybe. And every time I left and I went backwards, back to Philadelphia, my life became worse than it was from when I lived out here. So it wasn't until I went through a very painful divorce that I realized after coming out here again, I needed to stay still and I needed to let God do whatever he was trying to do in my life. So that's how I came to live in Harrisburg.
Yeah, what was it about Harrisburg that you were running away from? Like why was it such a struggle for you to be there?
I was just in a very defiant stage of my life where I felt I knew what was best. I was rebellious against my mom. I kind of felt like I now don't have to ask your permission. I don't have to do what you say. So I'm going to find my own way. And all I did was find myself in more trouble than I knew how to handle, and I found myself in situations that really broke me as a young woman. And I suffered unnecessary pain and unnecessary scars that I didn't have to go through, but the choices I made put me through those things. Harrisburg was just, it seemed to be that place that I knew God was calling me to be, but I also wasn't really ready to give up certain things in my life that I knew I would have to let go of in order to say, okay, God, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to let you have your way. I still wanted to do it my way and live in my mess. And I was enjoying living in my mess, so I just wasn't at a place where I was honestly ready to be obedient to what God was calling me to do.
What
So
do
I
you
kept
think
running.
that is? What do you think that God was calling you to do?
I just have a heart that truly desires to help, that truly loves, that truly cares. And I believe that everything I went through, I was supposed to go through because it was shaping me to be able to be a vessel in these other girls' lives. I believe that God is going to use me to truly not only help other young women in their personal journeys, but to also bring young women who are struggling closer to God, because I'm going to be able to relate to them because I've known that struggle. I've lived that struggle. I've been that young girl. So I believe he's truly just using me just to be a speaker of life. That's truly who I am.
Absolutely. I can definitely see and feel just the passion that you have about being that person for those ladies, for those young ladies. And like I can, it's something, it's something about spirits, and like energies and things like that. You feel people's energies, and I don't believe that you have to be in the same space with that person in order to feel their energy. And so, the energy that I get from you right now is really that you are passionate about the work that you're doing. I think it's so important too, just to highlight what you said about, I know that I know where they are because I was there before as well. That's a big, big part of my journey as well. Like one of the things that I always talk about with my group and with my, like, here on the podcast, whatever it is that, like, I was there, and so I know what you're going through because I was there. Maybe it may not be the exact same situations, but I was there and I know what it is. And so I love that, you're able to infuse little pieces of yourself into the work that you do. That's awesome and amazing. So, talk to me a little bit about Little Miss Ava, your business's namesake. How old is she now?
Ava is 15 months now. So she just turned one in December.
Oh, cutie patootie. Now, I've seen pictures of her on the Facebooks, and she is adorable. She really is adorable. She's your first daughter?
Yes, she is my third and last baby and my only girl.
Okay. When a couple weeks ago, I talked with Yvette Henry, from she has a baby girl named Anaya. And one of the things that she said during our discussion was it's something about being a mother to a daughter. Like it's something different. She said, I love my boys, but there's something about, having this baby girl that made me want to be not just a better person, but to be a better woman in general for her. And so listening to your story about Ava's Glam Camp and like how she was your motivation for really like actually, because it seems like this is something that has been inside of you for a while, and she kind of pushed it out, like she kind of pushed it out of you. So talk to me a little bit about that connection, and how bringing her into your life had really kind of, how did that impact you?
I was always terrified of becoming a mother because I was terrified to have a daughter. Me and my mom's relationship it's just come so far, but it was very tumultuous between us growing up. And I felt like the only way I could not have that repeat itself was not to have a daughter. And I literally would pray, both times when I found out that I was pregnant, like, oh Lord, please, 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 let it be a boy. I had no desires to have a daughter. And my pregnancy with Ava was the hardest pregnancy of my life. Physically, on my body, I had nothing but easygoing, natural, quote unquote, normal deliveries and pregnancies with my boys. But I realized that everything I was going through in that pregnancy, God was getting ready to birth something new in me and in my life. And it was so much more greater than any of my other. I was sad when I first found out that I was having a girl because I was fearful. And I said, I don't want to ruin her. I don't want to have a relationship with her like I had with my mom, but truly, from the moment literally that I held Ava, I just felt this incredible sense of responsibility to her that I did not feel with my boys. And it wasn't that I didn't feel responsible to them as a mother, but it was a connection. I mean, immediately, like, I'm not going to let this world break you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to love on you. I'm going to build you up. I'm going to speak life into you. I am not going to have you uncertain about who you are. I want you to know who you are in God's eyes. I want you to have this self-worth about you that nobody can take from you. It was just this incredible bond that was formed, and something in me was like, how could I not have wanted you? How could I have been afraid? How, like, we are going to be so close. I've spoken that since I held her. This little girl is going to know there is no love like my mother's love for me. And I want her to know truly that this is my mom, but this woman is my best friend, not my girlfriend, but she is my best friend. And it was just a bond that I had not experienced with my boys before. It truly was. And I was determined, I'm not going to let this little girl down. I'm not going to let this world devour my baby girl.
Absolutely, absolutely. My mother and I feel like we kind of have that kind of relationship. We are so much alike, even down to our favorite restaurant. Like, it's ridiculous how much my mother and I really share, and so I love the fact that your relationship with your mother didn't or has not yet tainted your relationship with your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, you're like, you have the opportunity to change things and to make things different. You don't have to do things exactly the same way that your parent did those things. And so if there was something about your relationship with your parents or your experience being parented by your parents that you didn't like, you don't have to run away from it. You can embrace it and make it your own, like you can choose to do something different. And so I love that, you have that viewpoint on it. And so talk to us a little bit about Ava's Glam Camp. Okay. So when I think of Glam Camp, I think about, like, I don't know. I think of glam, like eyelashes and makeup and all of that good stuff. What is it that you guys do in terms of programming and things like that in order to facilitate the lessons that you're trying to teach those your girls?
Yes, so we are in the process now of building our self love program. It will be the first program that Ava's Glam Camp is offering. Funny story, Ava's Glam Camp started out as a for profit business. And I kind of made, like, hey, Lord, I'm asking you to bless this business. And, if you bless this business and grow it for me, I want to use money, revenue, that I'm making through this business and start my nonprofit. But through the course of running Ava's Glam Camp as a for-profit, everything that could go wrong just continued to go wrong. And truthfully, I wasn't making any money because I was giving my services away. It wasn't about like you weren't gonna not be able to get something offered through us because of money. Like, girl, I'll give it to you. Like, don't, your daughter will still have it. Don't let money be a factor. And so a woman who I know through my church out here, who is now like a business mentor of mine, she kind of pulled me aside and said, you have a heart that desires to give. And I believe that that also makes any business that you have your ministry. And she asked if I ever considered running my business as a nonprofit instead. And it felt right. I knew in my spirit that that is exactly how it was supposed to be. All this time I was asking God, bless this business and then I'll start the nonprofit, when he was saying, I've already given you the nonprofit. Do this first. Do this first. And so it just transitioned. We kind of rebranded ourselves and relaunched it and went through the process of it becoming incorporated. And none of the things I went through, oddly enough, in the beginning have I experienced now. So God has a funny sense of humor and he'll get your attention.
Absolutely. And that's the thing about when you actually start walking in your purpose and actually like stop fighting it and start moving in your purpose, you find that things don't necessarily get easy, but they not as hard as they were. You know what I'm saying? Things start to kind of fall in place at that point, because when you surrender and you say, okay, like, all right, this is what's supposed to happen, this is where I'm supposed to be going, then things really start happening the way that they need to happen in order to get you to where you're going. And so it's an interesting phenomena, and it's hard to get people to understand it, because a lot of times to surrender to the purpose for most people is extremely difficult for them to do that, because it requires a certain level of vulnerability. When you have so much invested in something, and like you're putting your ideas out there for other people to determine whether or not you deserve money for it, that's a vulnerable place to be in, and we struggle so much with vulnerability that we just would rather work extra hard for something that's not as important to us, or work extra hard for something that doesn't require as high a level of vulnerability, and just struggle in trying to make that happen. So it's yeah, that's how it happens, that's how it works. Yeah. So Ava's Glam Camp is, as a nonprofit, is less than a year old at this point, right? So what are some of the programs? I know you said that y'all have your first program that you're actually putting together now. What types of programs are y'all putting together?
So, yes, our very first program is a self-love program, and we are designing it to kind of cover three different areas. So, we are going to run this program starting fall of 2018. So, a little bit after the girls go back to school. So, from September through June, we know that so much is happening in these schools, and we want them to feel like we got your back. You are surrounded. The women involved in Ava's Glam Camp embody the sisterhood that we are teaching them. And we may be older, but these girls, you're still a part of this sisterhood with us. You belong to this sisterhood with Ava's Glam Camp, and we got your back. So we run it during the school year so that we can help them as they are facing the challenges day to day. So we break it down. 3 months, we will be discussing self love. That's where some of that glam comes in. It is not a shame to love on yourself. Don't fall into the stereotypes or feel like you have to love yourself less because people think you're conceited or you're bougie or you're stuck up. Take it all as a compliment and move in stride. So we have spa days with them where we come in and I mean, they get pampered like head to toe. We do exercises called mirror, mirror on the wall. I love me most of all. When we have these girls face a full length mirror and we speak life into them and help them pull out things that they see about themselves that they love. So we have different speakers that will come in. We do different self love activities just to help them feel comfortable saying, I love me. There's no shame attached to that. I love me. So we do that for 3 months. And then the next 3 months, we work on self confidence, knowing who am I and being confident in what my strengths are and not feeling the need to compare or compete to other people. And so we'll have different activities, take them on and just expose them to different environments. We want them to just walk away being well rounded. And then the last 3 months, we embody and teach the sisterhood portion. And when I think of camp, that's what camp is. If as a kid you went to camp, you would bond with each other and friendships were formed at summer camps. And that togetherness is what we want to teach them. Like, you are your sister's keeper. You have a duty and a responsibility to one another. You are each other's protectors. Do not tear each other down. And so just being able to teach them through activities and different workshops, different hands-on experiences, getting out in the community. We just want to pour anything positive into them that we can. And we want them to have fun and while doing it.
Absolutely. I love it. I love everything about it. I think that it's obvious that you have a level of passion that is needed in order to really make this thing be successful, but also in order to have the impact on the girls' lives. I love everything about it, and I mean, I would love to participate in whatever way that I can participate. That would be awesome and amazing. That's right up my alley. Go ahead and let everybody know how they can reach you, reach Ava's Glam Camp. Do y'all accept donations? Is there a place where they can submit donations or anything like that? And where can they reach you on social media?
So currently, we are in the process of working on obtaining our 501c3. So we have not currently reached out to others and asked them for monetary donations. We've been kind of handling that from our end and just from different things that we are involved in and kind of using that money to help build Ava's Glam Camp. The most we honestly ask for are for people to just like and share our page, because there's a young girl, there is a mother somewhere who needs exactly what we offer, but they don't know that it exists. And so that is the best way, honestly, is by sharing our Facebook page, Ava's Glam Camp Inc. We're also on Instagram at Ava's Glam Camp, just following our social media and passing it along, even for a family who may not be local. Maybe that mother just needs somebody to pray with her, pray for her and her daughter, speak life into her. Those are things that we will still be willing to do, even for women and mothers daughters who are outside of our immediate reach. So just following our social media page and sharing it, showing us love, even if you don't have a daughter, someone on your friends list may. There may be a grandmother raising a granddaughter, and the grandmother's tired, and she hasn't had to do this in a long time. She needs that support. Share our page with her so that we can love on them and be her support as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to put links to all of your information down in the description box so that everybody can follow you on Facebook and Instagram and, make sure that they show you some love so that when you are accepting donations, they can definitely participate in that way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Ashley. I really enjoy getting to know you. I feel like I mean, I already liked you, but I feel like it just makes me have a deeper appreciation for you just to kind of hear you talk about Ava's Glam Camp and how it came to be and your personal connection to it. And I'm excited, and I really do mean that. If y'all have anything coming up in the future, if you know that maybe we could collaborate on, I am down for the cause. Like I said, I come from the world of nonprofit. I've run youth programs and youth you know, organizations, girl, every Saturday morning.
Yes.
20 weeks out the year. I done
Yes.
been there, girl. I done almost snatched somebody's
Yes.
child because they
Yes,
done
Lord.
came to my program acting the damn fool. But I keep
Yes.
going back because I love them little children, girl. Trees
Yes.
love the kids, girl. Trees love the kids. So I have a great deal of respect for you and for your organization, because I know firsthand what all it takes to give up your Saturdays and all of the planning that goes into making that happen. And even if you have any questions on that front, I'm your girl. I mean, I'm talking about I ran a whole program, girl. So I know how to make that happen. If you have any questions, if there's any way that I can help you out, just let me know. You got my number now, girl.
Thank you so much, truly, Latrice. This just means so much to me. I'm so thankful for you just having me on your show today. And thank you sincerely for being willing to be in my sisterhood and to support me and have my back. And I hope you can count on me to do the same for you. I'm just so thankful for how we met through our craft group. And I have a new woman a part of my sisterhood. That's just awesome to me. So I thank you so much, Latrice. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Call me anytime, girl.
I
All
will now, and
right.
I'm gonna stalk you.
Listen, girl, you won't be my first, and I'm sure you won't be my last.
Thank you so much, Latrice.
I don't know what it is about me, girl. I keeps a damn stalker, girl. I don't understand. Keeps a stalker, but hey, you know, damn these great qualities the
Yes,
Lord has given me.
yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
is what it is. All right, Ashley. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right. I hope you all enjoyed that interview with Ashley Williams as much as I did. Ashley is a beautiful, beautiful spirit, and I love the work that she's doing. You know, I grew up in youth groups and at the church and things like that, and so I know personally the impact that a group of adults taking interest in a group of children and molding them and shaping them and teaching them leadership skills and teaching them how to love on themselves and things like that. Like, I am a direct reflection of the adults in my life who stepped up and took on the responsibility of shaping young lives. And so I have so much admiration and respect for Ashley. You can tell just by listening to her talk that she really genuinely believes in the work that she's doing, and that, you know, it's coming from a good, healthy place. And so hopefully I'll get an opportunity to work with her soon. We already actually started, you know, brainstorming on some things. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I'll keep you all posted, letting you know if and when we get an opportunity to work together, do something together. Also, once she gets all of her information figured out, then I'm definitely going to let y'all know where you all can donate to her cause. Right now, just follow her on social media. Everything is going to be posted in the description box. Make sure that you show some love and show some support. Anytime we have someone that's willing to go into the community and, you know, do the boots on the ground, real life work to help these kids grow into healthy, stable, confident, and competent adults, I think we as a community have a responsibility to support them. And so, you know, thank you to Ashley and all of the Black women out there who make history in your lives, in your communities, and in the lives of the people who love and respect you every single day. I salute you, and I'm happy to be one of you. I'm honored to be one of you. I love Black women. We're freaking awesome and amazing, and yeah, I love us. I love us. I love us for real. But not like Monique for real. Like I love us for real, for real. So that was a little too shady. Is that too soon? It was a little too shady. I'm gonna try not to be shady. I'm sorry, y'all. But I do love us for real. For real, for real. Okay. All right. Coming up next is High Five. This week's high five. Well, so this week we have two high fives. I know y'all are tired of hearing me talk about Black Panther. I mean, nobody has said that y'all tired of hearing me talk about Black Panther, but I'm low key tired of talking about Black Panther on the cool. Not really, but I feel like I should be, but I'm not. So I'm only going to say one thing about Black Panther, which is the exact reason that they are receiving a high five this week. Black Panther is officially the highest grossing superhero movie in America. Period. Moving on. The next high five goes to Naomi Wadler. Naomi Wadler is an 11-year-old student who spoke up for Black female shooting victims at this weekend's March for Our Lives event in Washington, D.C. So this young lady spoke with such eloquence and confidence. And in her speech, she stated that she was adding an additional minute to the original 17 minutes that were intended to memorialize the 17 victims killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on February 14th. She explained that the additional minute was in honor of the African American, quote, the African American girls whose stories don't make the front page of every national newspaper, whose stories don't lead the evening news, end quote. According to Blavity.com, one of the major issues for critics of the hashtag Never Again movement was that initially there was reluctance to mention too much Black and brown victims of gun violence, which is not anything new to the debate on gun control, if we're going to be all the way honest about it. Unfortunately, like many of the social issues that exist in America, gun control has always been an almost exclusively white conversation. But the ones that are suffering the most as a result of lack of gun control are Black and brown communities. And Black women in particular are expected to endure in silence. And so high five to Naomi Wadler for refusing to be silent and for giving those Black female victims her 11-year-old voice. High five, mama. I am proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. And listen, we're going to see this little girl again. I trust and believe. She stood up there like she knew what she was intended for. You know, like she had purpose. She knew that I feel like in that moment, she was ushered into her purpose. She was ushered into the life that she was going to live. We are going to hear her voice again. We're going to see her face again. And I am excited about it. Okay. We got to start them young, y'all. Let the babies lead us. Okay. That's it for high five. So it's now time for reality check. So reality check is the segment where I take a deeper look at what we see on television and really kind of tell you what's real, or give you my clinical perspective on it, or my professional perspective on it, and try to help us to see those things in a different way. Like, yes, they are for entertainment value, but there's always a lesson in there. I think the reason why we're so drawn to it is because a lot of us see ourselves in those characters, you know? And so today's reality check goes to Sky from Black Ink Crew. Sky has been very open about the struggles and traumatic experiences that she had growing up. Her whole life, she's been in and out of emotionally and physically abusive relationships, as well as dealing with her mother's mental illness, while basically trying to raise herself and really just survive. And so this season, we were introduced to her children that she gave up for adoption when she was 19 years old at her mother's urging. And so her youngest son, Des, he pretty much welcomed her back with open arms. And it was a beautiful thing to see. That baby was happy to be with his mother and to have his mother back in his life. And I follow her on Instagram. And so, I see that they spend time together. She really gets an opportunity to have a relationship with him. But her oldest son, Genesis, was not so open to that experience. And so today I want to talk a little bit about that because the most recent episode, well, the last couple episodes, we've been seeing her kind of deal with the backlash because Genesis is not in a place where he can receive her. So she gave him up for adoption when she was 19 and he was 6 years old, I believe it was. Because we have to remember she had two babies by the time she was 15 years old. So Sky had a rough life for all intents and purposes. She had not seen him since she gave him up. And so this was about 15 years ago. And when they reconnected the first time, it was explosive, to say the least. Genesis has so many similarities to her in that, like, not just that they look alike, like physically, he looks more like her than her other son does, but they also emote the same, meaning that they express emotion or suppress emotion relatively similar. They both have a struggle with emotional regulation. And so both of them have spent their entire lives trying to understand why their mother could not be there for them and searching for that love in all of the wrong places. And unfortunately, it seems both of them have experienced being punished for letting their guard down. So not necessarily punished in a tangible way, but punished by the world. You know what I'm saying? For letting their guard down, which makes it hard to trust and makes it hard to let your guard down again and to be able to put yourself out there. And so it was important to me to address this issue because there's so many women out here, like there's so many of us who are out here, dealing with the traumas that we experience, and we bring those traumas into our parent-child relationships. And so, and not only our parent-child relationships, but our relationships in general. And so it was important to me. I felt like this was a really teachable moment and just a moment for us, for all of us, whether it's your relationship with your child that's suffering or if it's just relationships in general. I felt like it was important to address the topic because it's a really good opportunity for us to take a look at how to mend tumultuous relationships, especially when both parties are dealing with their own trauma. Okay. So, in case you didn't know, just a little bit of backstory. Like I said earlier, Sky's mother wasn't really there for her because of her mental health. And I believe she had some drug issues as well. I'm not 100% sure about the drug part, but I know that her mother was eventually diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which, if you've ever had a family member, let alone a parent, struggling with bipolar disorder, it is a difficult experience to endure. I did not have a parent with bipolar disorder, but I do have a family member with bipolar disorder. And I have watched, the kids of that family member struggle for their entire lives to really try to wrap their minds around the effects of the disorder, because when you're the child and this is your parent is experiencing these things and just doing all of the things that are hallmarks of bipolar disorder, it's hard to understand that it's the disorder, it's the disease, and it ain't got nothing to do with you. And it's really easy to internalize that. So Sky's mother wasn't there for her because of her mental health issues and possibly drug issues. And Sky was not there for her sons because she didn't even know how to take care of herself properly. She didn't know how to take care of herself, let alone be able to take care of them. And so in that moment, at 19 years old, when her mother suggested that she give her children up for adoption, she made what she believed was the right decision for them and for her. And let me tell you, I agree with her. I think that, and I don't know all of the backstory. I'm the first one to acknowledge and admit that all I know is what they show us on TV. I get that. But I do believe that giving those children up at that point in her life was the best decision for them at that time. Now, I also believe that, maybe she could have attempted to reconnect with them a little sooner than what she did. But the therapist in me, the clinician in me, is just inclined to believe that it could not have happened before because she was not in a place to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so now is the time that it's happening because now is the time that it's supposed to happen. So, that's that. I just think that everything happens when it's supposed to happen, and so that she's ready now, or at least approaching ready, I think. During this week's episode, the most recent episode of the show of Black Ink Crew, after, she had her second failed attempt to reconnect with her son face to face. And after that did not work out, she started crying and she asked Caesar, "What am I doing wrong?" And so that got me to thinking, and this is what really made me want to make this the reality check for today. It's not so much that she is doing something wrong. It's more so that what she's doing is not effective, right? And so she's not being effective with an E because she is still too affected with an A. She's affected by her own trauma. And so because she is still affected by her trauma and her her memory of that situation and where she was at that time and dealing with her own processing of the situation, she's not able to see his. Okay? And the same goes for him. Both of them are hurt and they are scared and they're still acting like, the children that they are because that's the age that they were when they experienced the trauma. So both of them are hurt and scared children who never got over not having their mother, and they are taking it out on the world. And so each of them is saying, "Look at my pain. Look at what I've been through. Life has been fucked up for me," and somebody needs to acknowledge that. Both of them are saying that. The problem is that neither of them can do that for each other because they can't see past their own pain. All right? They cannot see past their own pain. And this happens more often than we realize. When someone is having a hard time moving past an experience like this that was so traumatic in their lives, it's usually because they are waiting for outside validation of that experience and the pain that it caused them. All right? But the world does not owe you that validation. The world does not owe you that validation. And besides that, you don't need anybody's permission to move on. I firmly believe that. We have to learn how to give ourselves the permission to forgive and grow forward. If Sky and Genesis are ever going to come to, some type of understanding or come together, somebody is going to have to step outside of their own pain to see the other person's pain. And in this particular case, I think that Sky should be the one to make the first move because she is the source of his pain and the mirror of it as well. Okay? And what I mean by that is she not only understands, she is the reason that he's experiencing the pain, but she's also understands firsthand what that pain is, right? So this is going to require her to use her pain to help heal his pain because she knows firsthand what he is feeling because she's been there before. Hell, she's still there. She's still there. So stepping up for him in this way will not only help him heal, but it will also help to mend their relationship and quite possibly heal herself in the process. You know, she doesn't need to explain herself to him the way that she's trying to, or try to get him to understand why she gave him up. She just needs to acknowledge that she was not there for him when he really needed her to be there. And then she needs to reassure him that she wants to be there now. And she needs to show up for him every single day in every way that she can, to reinforce to him that today is today. Yesterday was yesterday, and I acknowledge that yesterday happened, but today is today. Okay? Today is today, and I'm here now. She's going to have to put in some work. She's going to have to put in some work. And I think that if she can do this, then they will be better for it. They will be better for it. Okay? And all of this needs to happen away from the cameras. Now, I'm not saying Sky needs to come off of TV, because I actually quite enjoy watching her and her antics. Sometimes I cringe when I see some of the things that she does. But I do enjoy her. I actually like her. I would love to interview her for the podcast. I really like her, and I am rooting for her. You know, I've told y'all this before. There's something about her that just makes me want to root for her, and I'm so proud of her. And I would love to interview her for the podcast. So if anybody got a contact or something like that, you know, hook a sister up or whatever. But this particular conversation, this particular situation, while I think it is great that she has shared this, because there's so many women out there who are struggling and going through the same thing and dealing with the same thing. I think, though, that, you know, the reconciliation and this particular process of it, I don't think that needs to happen in front of the television, because there's just too much tension right now. And so tension always escalates when there is an audience. Okay, tension always escalates when there's an audience. And so hopefully they can get to a place where they can mend this relationship. I think they can. It's going to be a long journey, but I have seen relationships come back from worse. And so good luck to them, and I will absolutely be watching. Okay? All right. Now it's time for this week's shout outs. I have a couple of shout outs to give today. My first extra special shout out goes to the ultimate chocolate baby, Anaya Zay, I think is how you say her middle name, Anaya Zay Henry, who is the daughter of Yvette Henry, who I interviewed a couple weeks ago, if y'all remember. She is the author of the online blog, Mrs. Melanin Exposed. And so Anaya turned 1 over the weekend. And so first of all, happy first birthday, little mama. Make sure that and second of all, you are ridiculously cute. And I just want to bite your cheeks, because it's ridiculous how, it's just ridiculous. This baby is amazing. And so anyway, follow Anaya and her brothers Theo and Raya Bowl on Instagram at Chocolate Babies, and follow Yvette on Mrs. Melanin Exposed. And you can keep up with all of their antics and watch these beautiful little chocolate babies grow on the YouTube show Belief in Fatherhood. So shout out to Belief in Fatherhood. If you haven't already, checked out my interview with Yvette in episode 30, where we talk about her transition to being a stay-at-home mom. We also talk about why she feels like she's failing at parenting. And then, of course, you know, I have to tell her why she's totally kicking ass at parenting, because that's what I do. That's what I do. Shout out to them. Also, shout out to Talking Greasy podcast. So their latest episode, first of all, Talking Greasy always shows me so much love. And so shout out to, you know, Darnell and Whitney Nim. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? But their latest episode was a pod swap with Sipworthy Pod, which is based in Dallas. And so Sipworthy does or they have been doing this month the hashtag Money Making March campaign. And they're doing it was a really good episode, this pod swap that they did. I was listening to it earlier today. And so I had never heard of Sipworthy before, but I'm definitely going to be checking them out now. Y'all know I don't really like when it's too many people on the microphone, but I really enjoyed this episode. I think they did a really good job of volume modulation. And so I really enjoyed that. They discussed the trials of having a day job while also trying to get your business off the ground, which is exactly where I am currently. I try to be as transparent as I can with y'all about my journey because I really do believe in the power of sharing our stories with each other, especially as Black women. I think that we suffer in silence, and we need to be able to share our stories with each other. And so I appreciated them being so open and honest about their experiences because it reminded me that I'm not the only one struggling with this, you know? And plus the Talking Greasy co-host who was on the show, Whitney, she said something about like being on her day job and not getting paid for the work that she's doing. Like she hasn't had a raise, but they keep adding on more work. And so it gave me an idea of a topic that I'm going to cover here on the show in a couple weeks. So just the icing on the cake was that listening to this show, I got a lot of validation, but then I also got some podcasting inspiration. And so that's like super, super awesome and amazing. And so it inspired me in more ways than one. So shout out to Talking Greasy Podcast. Shout out to Sipworthy Podcast. Y'all keep on doing what y'all doing. Now, Sipworthy, this is the only episode I haven't had a chance to listen to any of the other episodes, but I'm for sure y'all are going into the podcasting rotation, and I'm going to start checking y'all out. And so shout out to y'all and all that good stuff. Of course, shout out to Black Married Fly podcast, Candace and Treb over there, always holding a sister down. I love y'all so much. And like, I'm not playing, like I'm coming to Dallas for real, for real. And whenever y'all start making babies, I need to be at this baby shower. Like, I'm not saying I need to be the baby godmother or whatever, but I need to be at the shower at the very least. Okay. So shout out to Black Married Fly podcast and the whole BYNK radio family. Shout out to the Friend Zone, which is definitely solidifying their place as one of my favorite shows. They just inspire me every day. Hey, friend. Hey, Dustin, and hey, Asante. I definitely am going to meet and work with y'all one day. Y'all don't know it yet, but I know it. It's coming. It's going to happen. We're going to figure that thing out. They don't even know me yet. So eventually I'm going to get on their radar and we're going to collaborate on something. We're going to make this happen. Shout out to Unapologetic Podcast. Hey, Jaden. If you haven't yet, check out my episode last week. I was a guest on Unapologetic Podcast. And thank you all so much for the love and support as a result of that. Hey, Jaden. If you haven't yet, check out my episode with, I think it's called Bob's Burgers and Blinged Out Bonnets or something like that. It was a good time. A good time was had by all. And so Jaden is actually going to be featured on one of my episodes really soon. I'm super excited about that. So shout out to Unapologetic Podcast. And then also, finally, shout out to Black Law and Legal Lies podcast. I have not had an opportunity to listen to the show just yet, but they are fellow New Orleanians. And so they showed a lot of love and support over the course of the last week or so. They were introduced to me and I to them through my guest episode on Unapologetic Podcast. And so I haven't had a chance to listen to them yet because I've been working on the launch for Empower Your Vision Masterclass, which I'm super excited about. But I am going to check them out really, really soon. And speaking of Empower Your Vision Masterclass, it's time for announcements. For the last several months, you all have heard me talk about the Empower Your Vision Masterclass. A lot of you have asked when you're going to get a chance to participate, Well, now is your time. Empower Your Vision Masterclass is a 5-week intensive designed to kickstart your journey toward healing and manifestation. It is a semi self guided course that includes 5 pre recorded modules and over 15 free worksheets on topics like forgiveness of self and others. I talk about building a strong support network for yourself. We talk about getting clear about the mission and vision for your life, and definitely overcoming blocks and obstacles. So it is really the foundation of everything that you need to get in place in order to really kickstart your journey of self-discovery and healing, or healing and manifestation. This is my signature program, and I am so proud of this program. Y'all have no idea. It's like 10 years in the making. And so it also is going to include a free weekly live Q&A inside of the secret Empower Your Vision Masterclass Facebook group. And so this is where you all will be able to interact with me live every single week. You'll be able to, I'm going to do a check-in with you every week during the masterclass Q&A. And you'll be able to ask any questions you might have about implementation. So I will be holding your hand throughout the entire course, but you get to move through it kind of at your own pace. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's a semi-guided kind of course. All right. You're also going to get a private client portal, which is a personal, like your own personal little space where you can get all of your information will be there. It's an awesome and amazing little nook that's carved out that's just for you. It's only for your eyes. Nobody else is going to have access to this space. And so I'm really excited about being able to offer that to you all as well. And it's a more personal way for you to be able to communicate with me right there inside of your portal. All right. So I will be, the course begins on April 18th. And initially, I was going to offer 50 spots. Like, I was going to make it like 50 people can participate at this time. But I decided to only do 30 because, I want it to be an intimate experience. I just don't want to spread myself too thin. I want to make sure that I can give personalized attention to each person that participates. And so this is, I'm so proud of this. Y'all have no idea. I am so proud of this program. The first group that participated, their surveys are coming in, and they loved it, and it's already changing lives. And just I'm I don't even have the words, y'all. I don't even have the words how proud I am of this program, and I am so excited about just helping people and watching people grow as a result of participating in this program. So like I said, I was going to offer 50 spots, but I decided to only do 30, and people have already started signing up. It officially launched last week, but I really just started doing like the marketing push and stuff like that. So we already have people signed up. So there's less than 30 spots. I don't even know exactly how many right now. Right now, it's being offered at the introductory rate, because it is the first time that a lot of y'all are interacting with me like on a deeper level. So I don't want there to be any reason for you not to start on this journey. But the cost will go up significantly when we relaunch later this year. It will never be this cheap again. Okay. I want to make that very clear, because I don't want y'all looking at it like, oh, it's so cheap, it must not be worth nothing. No, I strategically selected this price because I don't want you for you to be able to use cost as an excuse to not start this journey. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we're always looking for excuses to not start this journey. So I intentionally priced it low, ridiculously low, so that there will be no excuses for anyone to not come get this information, to not kickstart this journey. It will never be this low again. So if you are serious and you are really ready about getting your life on track and moving forward and manifesting your dreams, get your spot today. I'm telling you, I don't think by the 18th, I don't anticipate having any more spots available. So if you want it, you need to go ahead and get it. Okay. So head on over to my website, latricesampsonrichards.com/empower your vision to get your spot. That's EMPOWHER, your vision, to get more information and to claim your spot today. Make sure you leave a comment on my Instagram and let me know you'll be there so I can definitely give you a shout out when you arrive. Okay. All right. Also, if you haven't already, you always have the option to join Trust Village, a safe place for healing and manifestation, which is my closed Facebook group that I run. And so I love Trust Village. Hey, all my ladies in Trust Village, all my villagers, as I call it. I love Trust Village. It's a safe place for me. It's a safe place for you. And it's just Black women really showing up for each other and being there for each other and loving on each other. And I almost cried today. I'm not even going to lie, because someone posted yesterday in the group about an issue that they were dealing with. And I was so busy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to respond the way that I wanted to. And so when I circled back around to it today, I was going to go back and respond to the person, and there were 10 comments. Like, the group members swooped in and loved on her and supported her and gave her feedback and gave her advice. And that is like exactly what I intended for Trust Village to be. And so I was just, like, I literally almost cried today when I saw that. I'm just so proud of it. And so if you haven't yet, go ahead and join Trust Village at facebook.com/groups/Trust Village. And then finally, I don't know if y'all know or not, but I also run a blog called the Black Unicorn Project, which is where my title, Unicorns Talk Podcast, came from. So the Black Unicorn Project is kind of like a online community center for Black people, and it's all about the healing and manifestation of Black folks in general. So we address all different life areas and lifestyle issues. And so for the financial component, we are doing a bi-weekly savings challenge. So if you check out the Instagram page for the Black Unicorn Project at the Black Unicorn Project on Instagram, you will see every other week, every pay week, we post the numbers to the savings challenge, and if you follow it every pay period and save the amount of money that it says to save every pay period, then you will save $5,000 by the end of the year. So participate in the bi-weekly savings challenge. And Black Unicorn Project has lots of other things coming up, and y'all are going to start hearing a lot more about it as I figure this podcasting thing out and start stretching my legs, you know what I'm saying, getting more familiar with how to make all of this stuff happen. I'm really learning how to integrate more into, just integrating my complete and total brand and message into the work that I'm doing. And so I'm excited about that. Make sure you follow on all of the social medias for Unicorns Talk Podcast on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. It is at Unicorns Talk Pod. Check us out on the website, latricesampsonrichards.com/Unicorns Talk Pod. You can listen on the web, or you can find out everywhere the show is available. And like I said earlier, make sure that you rate, subscribe, and comment on Apple Podcasts. Let the people know if you enjoyed this episode. Let the folks know. Say something on Instagram. Make sure you talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Say something. Say, hey, girl, hey, or something. Let me know y'all listening. All right. And then also, if you want to follow me on the social medias, on Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Latrice Sampson Richards with an S. And on Twitter at LSamRichards. Okay? That's all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye, y'all.